Stock Dog Basics 101, you probably want to invest in a couple of books if you don't know much about using a dog for stock work. Books that can probably explain come by and away and all the basic commands as well or better than I do. I will of course go over all of it with you when we work with the dog. Some people learn by doing, some people learn by seeing, so that's why I make these videos for people. Come by is going to be clockwise all the time around the stock, and it doesn't matter if you're calling the dog inside, like between you and the livestock, or if you're sending him to go out around. Clockwise is come by. So away would be counterclockwise, away from the clock, and that's going to be the same no matter if you're sending him from your side to go all the way around stock, or if you're calling him in between you and the stock to start a drive. A gather, when you send the dog around to bring stock, they should know to balance the stock to you. That means when they get along the back side of stock, they should automatically start bringing those stock to you unless you've told them to do something different. The there command is what I use to turn the dog into stock. So if you send the dog around to the back side, they get to the top, they're in a perfect place to bring the stock to you. There, walk. And it's the same thing as if we were driving. If the dog was going to take the stock to that gate over there, I'd call them around here, there, walk. When the stock are pointed in the right direction, the there command doesn't really have anything to do with the dog other than telling him that the direction the stock are headed is where you want them to go. So you're setting a line for the dog, and the line usually on a gather is towards you, and the line on a drive is usually away from you. Parallel drive with the dog, meaning you kind of walk side by side with the dog, and that kind of helps give them a little bit of support. And then in that case, you're using your inside flanks. The directions are still come by and away, but you're flanking the dog in between you and the stock, not sending him all the way around. Again, it can get confusing. That's why I recommend books, videos, other resources. So put your time into that, because the more you know about using a dog, the better you will be able to use the dog. So I'll just kind of demonstrate with Nacho. Come by and away, what balance looks like. Typical for the breed, he likes to wear behind livestock, so he doesn't come in straight on the balance point. He kind of likes to wear behind the stock and kind of try to keep them together, even on a small group, and he doesn't need to. That's kind of one of the traits of the breed. Sometimes you get a lot of dogs that do that. So just kind of using your pressure to keep him back behind, keep him from coming too far to one side or the other. So this is, again, like I said, this is a team effort. You can send the dog, he's a beginner dog, send the dog to get around the stock, and he might do a good job, but then things start to fall sideways and you have to step in to help. So it's not you stand at the gate and tell the dog what to do. This actually involves a lot of handler movement and association as well. I set him up to send him. He's facing the stock. He can see the livestock that we're going to go get. He can go all the way to this fence line and around, or he can kind of cut in a little bit over here and go around. The distance off the stock that the dog needs to be depends on the livestock. If these sheep take off running, the instant he gets up, he's already too close. And in a small pen, sometimes that means the dog has to be way on the edge of the pen. Sometimes it means they have to soften their body language. They can't go as fast. It's all going to depend on your livestock and the dog's attitude. Again, here comes that attitude thing that we talk about all the time. So if I send him on a come by, he's going to go that way. I'm only going to correct him if he disturbs the stock, so I don't care if he's on the fence or if he's kind of towards the middle. I do care if he disturbs my stock early. Okay, so before he gets to a point where he can bring them off the fence, if they are very concerned and running, he's in trouble. And that just means pressure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk towards his path, put pressure on him, until he says, oh, did I make a mistake? And then I'm going to release the pressure and kind of give him the command that I was looking for in the first place, okay? So I'll watch my livestock. I'm going to say, come by. I put a little pressure on him. And he got up and he's leaving. He's actually slow, a little cautious there. So I'm going to step into him. They're not disturbed. Okay, come on. There. So see, when they're headed towards me, that's where he needs to be, right? And here's where I said he's going to wear a little bit. Hey, you. Get out of that. There. Hey. Hey. Come on. There. So he has a preferred side. He likes the away. That's why he's coming over here. Right there. Nacho. There. Down. So if he doesn't take mine down immediately, I'm going to walk into him. So all the little tapping and the hey, hey, whenever I said there and he didn't, number one, he didn't check up very much. Number two, he didn't hold his position. So normally these sheep like to be over there with their friends. So he really needs to hold his side of the draw, which basically means he needs to stay between the sheep and where they want to be. They are drawn to that side of the pen, so if he stays between them and their friends, they won't go over there. They're kind of trained to come to me a little bit, so that's why he was able to come all the way over here and they didn't leave, because I was here. But at home, he's not going to be able to do that because your goats and your stock are not going to be broke to come to you. So that's going to be one thing you're going to have to work with. And if he wants to go back and forth a little bit, that's okay, but he can't come all the way back over here on my side like he was. There. Nacho. There. Good boy. There. Good. Now if I want them closer, he can walk in. He's kind of looking at me, walking towards me, not really walking towards the sheep. So I'm going to put my focus on them. I think the reason why is he tends to gravitate towards that other away side. So once they're about to pass him, I'm going to put a little pressure on him. There. Good. Good. And then once he's done what I've asked, I'm going to release the pressure. So he's holding those sheep just like that. I did not ask him to lie down, but I did tell him there. And then when he ducked out a little bit, so then I put a little bit of verbal pressure on him, and that's when he decided, well, I better lay down because that's the only way I'm going to be able to control my feet in this situation. He certainly has prey drive. So if you have one that likes to run or split, he is going to be drawn to that. And he certainly likes to get a hold of those heels. So that's another reason he may tend to gravitate towards one side or the other, is he's going to be easier to send on the side where he sees heels. That's just going to be more comfortable for him, and that's true on sheep, cattle, goats. It's going to be true for all livestock. He'll go to the heads, he'll send to the heads, but he prefers to bite on the heels, and he does enjoy that, so he is going to look for that. And I'm just going to let him feel that, exactly how it is. These sheep are calm. He's calm. You can tell his eyes are relaxed about it, and the sheep are pretty relaxed. They're bunched up, but that's pretty typical for sheep. So sheep are going to flock better than goats. With goats, you may have he may have to work a little bit harder to hold them together. So if I put a little pressure on them, I would expect for him possibly to have to stand up to keep them from leaving. And if he doesn't, I'm going to make him do it. There. Good. Good boy. So that's called cover, when a dog will stop them from leaving a certain area. And I've already told him where I wanted the sheep to be because I had them held in this corner. I told him there, and that means that's the path, that's where I want those sheep to be looking. And so when they change, he shouldn't be able to adjust unless I've told him to stop. So my command for stop is stop. For dogs who have it down, if they blow me off on the stop, I may ask them for a down just if I need that control. But for him, I've trained a stop, which is a standing stop. If I say there, that means he has the freedom to control those sheep however they need to be controlled. So if they leave this corner, he should go cover that, right? And if he doesn't on his own, I'm going to put pressure on him. I'm not going to tell him come by or away. Good boy. There. Hey, get out of that. There. There. Good. So you can tell he feels the pressure of the stock because he kind of dodges in and out. He's not where, Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. And then you can see him kind of gearing up right there. He's thinking, oh, I might be able to get one. Right there. Hey. Good boy. So once they're settled, we have them where we want them to be. He needs to settle, which is a little bit of why he's getting in trouble for the movement. It's not that I asked him to stop, because I didn't. But what I want to see is my sheep calm and under control. This is true for cattle too. Everything that I'm saying here works for your cattle too. So if you send him into a pen, you want to bring those cows through a gate. The gate's over here. He does not need to be rip-roaring, biting, and pushing. He needs to get them headed towards the gate and then maintain a reasonable speed. And then if they don't have anywhere else to go, he doesn't need to keep making movement to try to make them move. They just need to settle. So if I try to push them out of this corner, he should cover.